You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Listening to the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada Edition, your source for all IIHF Hockey Canada related news, discussions, and analysis of tournaments like the Winter Olympics, World Championships, World Cup, and World Juniors from right here in the Niagara region. Here are your hosts, Brandon Caputo and Kyle Kitts.
How's it going, folks? Welcome to another installment of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada Edition right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. This is your December 27, 2020 edition. We are your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here from the beautiful Niagara region. You can follow us on Twitter at Armchair GMs Pod. You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Armchair GMs Network. Follow us on Instagram by searching up the Armchair GM Sports Network. Listen to us on all our main platforms like Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, CastBox, and Deezer. Wherever you're getting your podcasts, search up the Armchair GM Sports Network, and you can find us there. Lastly, check out our recently launched website, armchairgmsports.com, for all things regarding the network, which contains articles, podcast episodes, sponsors, and contributors. Everything is located on there for you guys. As always, I'm your host. I am Kyle, just Kyle21 on, or 2151 on Twitter. Not joined by my boy Cappy. He's indisposed at the moment. Yeah, healthy scratch for today's episode. But I am joined by a special guest who's going to be joining us throughout this, I guess, this World Junior time of the year. And that is Colin Ward from the 0-60 podcast. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Nice to hear from you again. It's been a while.
Man, it's been way too long. Here to talk some juniors. And, sorry B-Cap couldn't be here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's up there. He sent me a text like 5 minutes ago saying he's watching the Atlanta Falcons game.
Oh.
Throw him under the bus there on his own network. I'm sorry, Brandon.
That's all right. I'll allow it. I'm part owner here. I can allow it.
Beautiful. Thank you. You're the players coach where he's like the demanding. He's like the John Tortorella of the network, and you're like, just go out, have a good time. You're the Tortorella in Vegas where he's the Tortorella from out of Vegas.
That's so true. I'm like Reggie Dunlop, man. I play for the boys too. I'm a player coach.
I love it.
But yeah, here to talk some World Juniors, and God, Team Canada had their game last night against Germany, and God, like, I didn't tune in live, and maybe it was a good thing because what we got out of that game was just yikes.
It was wild. I mean, I don't know where to start. It was like into the game, Canada looked unreal the first couple of minutes, and it just
I was more pumped for
1-0, 2-0.
Yeah, I was more pumped for their exhibition game as opposed to this game. This is the opening tournament game.
Hey, quick off Canada question. You see Askarov there against the States?
Yeah.
On Christmas Day?
Wow.
Talk about a style, eh?
Yeah.
He's just all over the place. I mean, I love it. It reminded me of Peter Mrazek. I was texting Reese Dumaney, our co-host of the 0-60 podcast. He was like, we were talking about the game. We're like, this is like Peter Mrazek all over again. Like, once Russia plays the U.S. again in the semifinal, but he'll be the guy he'll be that goalie that's jumping into the glass.
Yeah, pretty much. And I guess
he'll
they're trained.
That guy. He's all over the place.
I guess they're trained by Happy Bolin. From what I gathered, the Russian team is trained by all their goalies are trained by Happy Bolin, and obviously Happy Bolin's freaking pet project and stud is still Vasilevsky. That's his that's the first thing on his trophy mantle.
Yeah. You know Vasilevsky? Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. Yeah, I trained him. He's good because of me.
Also, a quick Russian topic. How about Igor Larionov's system?
Oh, yeah.
As a Wings fan, it's like watching the Russian 5 documentary. I guarantee you he goes into the first meeting this year when he introduces his system and what the game plan is. I guarantee he just shows a documentary of the Russian Five.
See, that threw me off. That threw me right off when they announced, like, when I was watching that and they showed the coach. I'm like, wait, where's that one guy that's always the Russian coach? Like, he's always Team Russia's coach.
Dragon. It was very weird. Okay?
And then I seen Igor Larionov. I'm like, oh my God, no way.
And I love his system. I think Russia's a tough team to beat. They're so aggressive on the penalty kill, eh?
Yeah, they noticed. I didn't notice, the commentators made mention of it. Their whole new system, like even Ray Ferraro, like broke it down, like showing like
it's wild.
Their neutral zone game is improved. They don't force their entries. They literally cycle the puck back over and over again until they find that entry.
And that philosophy, like to be a player in that system, is probably awesome. Because if you're gonna work so hard in your own end to get the puck, why just dump it in and chase it?
Right?
Carry it. Make that pass. I mean, if you're like a forward in your own end, why would you work all that time digging the corners for that like 15, 20 seconds there, and then all of a sudden get over center and just dump it in and change? If you got time to get in there and move the puck and get something going. That's why I love watching the Russian team. They're so aggressive, like how you picture the Russians to always be. But now that they carry the puck a lot more, it makes them so much more dangerous. And I think that's a team that's going to be the tough one for Canada, to be honest.
Yeah, they remind me of like the old style, like Russian, when they were like the Soviet Union back in the day.
Yeah, where they just go in there and control the puck. You literally see the time of the attack, and it's like 35 minutes, something crazy.
Yeah, I really
Half
don't
the
get
game they carry the puck.
Yeah, I don't get the teams that dump and chase, but they're a team that's not aggressive. But they're not aggressive. Like they dump and chase, but they don't chase it in the corners. They just hang back.
Kind of like the Detroit Red Wings 2019, 2020.
Hey, maybe,
exactly like that.
Maybe they'll get some aggressive guys eventually. I don't know.
Other than that top line, there's nobody.
Anyways, yeah, that game was a good game Canada had against Russia. Like it's definitely going to be their toughest game until they get to the gold medal and whoever they face there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the big thing out of that and the big story out of the game is like Kirby Dack. Like, damn.
Ooh. Did you see his wrist?
Yeah. So I saw the picture. I cringed for about 10 seconds after I seen that. Because it looked like the most harmless hit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Did it look like his shoulder at first?
That's what I thought. I thought it was like his arm, like he maybe popped it out or something.
Yeah, I thought it was his shoulder, like something. Like I knew he'd be out for time. I didn't think it would be his wrist. But like looking at it, you can kind of see like where the stick goes down. Might have popped. Well, it definitely popped out. Like that's how that's the only way I could think of it, because like that's got to be like the smallest spot to get the wrist. I'm
gonna assume his wrist was already like weak to begin with. Like there was a pre-existing injury, or it's on the last thread.
He didn't say.
Yeah.
Well, you see that all the time, with guys. Like they'll say, "Yeah, we got this." Like there's something bugging them, but if there's like the World Junior Championships coming up, you're going to that World Junior. I mean, if you're the captain, I mean, like Turnier said, he was the captain since day one at camp, right? So that's the thing where you can kind of see for him. Oh, man, that would be tough, eh? Can you imagine? You think your whole life, you look forward to playing in this tournament. You watch it every single year, and all of a sudden you get the chance. You're the captain. You're the captain of Team Canada. And then you play the one exhibition game. You go through the 14-day quarantine. Then you go through the extra quarantine. And then this happens. That would be so tough to make it through all, like everything. And then the very last minute before the tournament starts, literally the last game preparation, practice, whatever you want to say, before their actual meaningful games, he gets hurt. Now that's too bad.
Yeah, it's tough. And like the big thing for me would have been the captaincy, because you're going into this beforehand. Like,
yeah.
Like you get named captain because if Lafreniere was here, he probably, most certainly would have probably been the captain. So
yeah, for sure.
Knowing he wasn't going to be there and him getting named captain, that's like a lot on his shoulder. I think the only, I guess you can call it benefit that this guy had from this whole thing was that this tournament is kind of a little bit watered down because there's no crowd. So you're not gonna get that big feel, that hometown, home country feel.
That's the tough part.
Yeah. And that sucks for all of Canada.
Miller mentioned that yesterday. Yeah, Gordon Miller mentioned that yesterday about how next year it's back to Edmonton and Red Deer, the way it was supposed to be this year with the two venues. That's a big deal because a lot of these guys even the guys on Team Canada, unfortunately, some guys are going to be bust at the next level.
Yep.
For some reason, there's the way the game's played, their system, or the way that their role is going to change. Not every player gets the benefit of playing in an NHL arena. And that's the one part that's very disappointing, because like playing in an NHL arena with fans would be incredible for some of these teams. Like, can you imagine seeing like Austria, how hopefully not, I mean, this is a tough one to say, but for sure only one player from that roster, and Marco Rossi, is going to make the NHL. Like, that's probably a lock.
Yeah.
That would, like, for those other guys to play in front of 18,000 against like Russia or the US would be massive.
Yeah, exactly. And you nail it on the head there with, like, not everybody on Team Canada. They talk about, especially this year with all the first round picks that they have.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the transition is going to be for those players.
You don't know.
Yeah. Like, you just remember names from over the years. There's one that sticks out to me, and it's because I'm a Leaf fan, and that's Justin Pogge. He was like,
for sure.
He was their
For
goalie.
sure.
Like, he was, the Leafs were like happy. Oh fuck! Like, we just got. Oh, and I just swear I'm gonna have to bleep that out.
What?
Like, at that time, he was probably set to be the Leafs' like next starting goalie. Look what happens.
Yeah.
Doesn't amount to anything. Barely plays in the NHL, and then now he's still playing in Europe. Like, it doesn't.
Hey, a lot of those guys, it's going to be the biggest tournament, the biggest 2 weeks of their life. Yeah. And for over 50% of the players, probably over 60% of the players, this is the biggest moment they're ever going to play in. It's so hard. You're a Leaf fan. I mean, you know how hard it is to even win a playoff round. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, like, it's very hard to win at the next level. It's very hard to play in big games at the next level. So, I mean, for a lot of guys, this is going to be the biggest hockey they ever play in their lives. And that's the unfortunate thing with having no fans. But as Canada mentioned, Canada sent some letters and signed jerseys to players, to like doctors, nurses around the country, that, or someone that the players know themselves as having a very tough go this year, throughout the year. They sent them a support letter and just to let them know that you're with us on this team. And I think that was pretty touching too, to see from the players in Hockey Canada, to add that. They always add something like a quote or like what they play for at the beginning of the tournament. And I think this, by them saying that and sending letters and sending jerseys to like people that they know that are going through a lot tougher times than they are, and they're lucky to even be playing in a tournament. I think that's very cool that they were able to send stuff like that to people that are in a tough spot right now.
Right. So you brought up the jersey. What do you think of that new? Is that like, that's not technically, that's not the third, or maybe it's a third jersey, because against Russia they were using the black shoulder classic, Canada across the chest kind of jersey, and that's kind of like the main staple. But
I like the main ones, but these are good. I mean, Canada, the last couple times that they've hosted it, have come out with an alternate jersey like that for the first game. We'll see what they do. I mean, they won 16-2. It's tough to say it's 16-2. I mean, it's not a 16-2 game. I mean, with that many players out, with 13, 14 players playing for Germany, that's honestly, that's bigger than the miracle on ice if they win that game, Germany.
Yeah. That's
the biggest upset in hockey history if Germany wins that game last night.
Exactly.
Every single forward on Canada is a first-round pick in the NHL. Germany has one. Their two others should have went. And I mean, J.J. Peterka is a first-round pick in the NHL. Buffalo got a steal there. He's a heck of a player. So technically they got one, but I'll say they have two right now on their roster. Can you imagine going up against around every single forward core, or every single forward on that team being a first-round pick? Like, good luck.
Well, I mean, Tim Stützle probably would have been. I mean, I saw how pissed off he was at the end of the game. Like, he was not happy.
Hey, you know what though? I'll get it up again. But when I checked the plus minus during the game, he was only a -5. That's incredible.
That's good for a 16-goal game.
Can you imagine you give up 16 goals and you're only a -5?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, Peterka was a -8. Which isn't even that bad, to be honest, for 16 goals.
It's only half of them.
Yeah, I mean for the amount of minutes he played.
But yeah, Tim Stützle, man, you're gonna have to get used to that playing in Ottawa. That's all I'm saying. Like, you're not going into Ottawa next year.
-7, Tim Stützle.
Okay, so well, I mean, I can't say that Ottawa is going to be horrible. I mean, it's going to be a new division, all Canadian division. Who knows what the heck's going to come out of that?
That division's wild, eh?
Yeah, but it is something for the kid to learn, right? Like you're probably gonna go through at least a couple of those games in your entire NHL career, depending on how long you are in there, of crushing defeat. So I guess in a way it's a good learning curve for him. But I mean, 16-2, you're never gonna find that in an NHL game. So obviously it was tough for the kid.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto can beat the Zamboni driver.
Yeah.
So you're never going to find that. You're never going to find that.
Oh, man.
Maybe if there's like empty nets or something.
Literally.
Or both goalies get hurt. And E-Bug's not there. Stuck in traffic.
Put the plastic that the little kid's target practice goalie. You just put the plastic in front of the net and there's like 5 holes. We probably couldn't.
Yeah, until you get Shea Weber to stick a clapper right through
through the head.
That's a game plan. That's a game plan for the Montreal Canadiens. Give Shea Weber the puck. He's just going to shoot it. He's just going to shoot it. Then there's going to be a hole in their net. Then goal. Back to the empty net.
All right. So before we go any further, guys, we're just going to take our first commercial break here on the show, and we'll be right back. Talk some more Team Canada and Germany, and then we'll talk what their kind of preview the next couple of games after. So we'll be right back here for the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada edition, and right back here on the Armchair GM's Sports Network.
Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional style Italian pizzas made with the freshest top quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings. Winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award 4 years running from Niagara this week for best pizza and wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. Way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory, and Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code ARMCHAIR at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Throatstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show here on the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada edition. And right back here in the Armchair GM Sports Network. Make sure you are checking out all your great local sponsors here in the Niagara region, especially during these tough times of the pandemic. It's always nice to support local businesses at this time. Here to talk some more Team Canada, and we'll talk about the game itself. That I don't know what everyone was doing yesterday watching this game. I know like World Juniors is that time of year, especially with hockey fans. It is the most wonderful time of the year because it's an awesome tournament to watch and see the future of the NHL in a lot of players. So the game last night, I mean, there's so much back and forth I've seen on social media about like, oh, should Canada have kept trying? And there was other people going back. It's like it's a hockey game. Like there shouldn't be no arguing over this. What are your thoughts, Colin? Like what like are you the guy that's out? Are you the Joe on the street there saying that Team Canada should have taken it easy, or are you the guy in the street saying like it's a hockey game, this stuff happens?
I honestly think they did let up, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know I might hear it about this, but I honestly think they did let up, Canada. If you watch some of those goals, I hate to say it, but they're kind of stoppable pucks. I mean, a lot of the goals went in. The first goal that Caden Gooley scored kind of went through your blocker. It's a stoppable puck. Dawson Mercer's goal, the shorthanded goal, the second goal, it's a wraparound. The goalie gets caught in the net playing the puck. That's the biggest rivalry in hockey, goalies versus playing the puck.
Yeah. If you're not good, I don't think a goalie should go back there. That's just me. If you know,
I was a fan of goalies playing the puck on the power play just to stop it. If the puck's rolling and you got the defenseman coming back, and if you know what happens when a puck rolls on the defenseman, he loses it and they score anyways. So I don't mind that the goalie going out behind the net, slowing it down for the defenseman to take it in stride. But to go out and like be Bobby Orr or Carey Price, you can stay now. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough. I'm not a fan of that. And I mean, you got to feel the net too when you go out to play the puck, right? You can't just go. You got to know where you are on the ice.
Yeah.
Because next thing you know, you're creeping. No trapezoid there, so it's like, oh, we're in the corner. Spencer Knight had that problem in the first game, the Americans.
Yeah. Well, so they had two goalies play. Obviously, the backup goalie got more peppered than the starting goalie. But you said it there, like these goals weren't difficult. Like Team Canada weren't going out there and like picking. Like some of these shots were just normal shots on net that the goalie should have had.
Yeah.
And there's the one we were talking about off air where Tomasino came in. Shout outs to him, former Ice Dog there, and now General. But his shot, the goalie literally moved out of the way.
Honestly, it kind of looked like in the video game when the user disconnects.
Yeah.
And moves the other way. That's kind of what it looked like. I mean, it was tough.
The IIHF graphic guy should have put user disconnected at the bottom. Should put it up on the screen in the replay.
Yeah. For sure.
I would have died. But yeah, it just. I mean,
but when Canada scored the first goal, when Peterka and Stützle came down and Levi made that phenomenal save on Tim Stützle there in front of the net. That on that cross crease, like spread eagle.
Yeah.
If that goes in, we may have a different game. If Tim Stützle scores there, we're tied 1-1. All of a sudden, I mean, Germany's got a purpose, right? But then then Canada takes a penalty, the 5-minute penalty, which hurt. I mean, I think Schneider will get a game. Nothing announced yet this afternoon, though, which is a good sign for Canada.
We were talking about that too.
Game.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. We were like, at first it looked like a big hit. You hear the boys on the bench yelling. It was like a momentum shifter, and then all of a sudden you watch the replay.
You see it up close.
Yeah, and Ray Ferraro's even like, ooh. When Ray Ferraro says that, that wasn't good.
Yeah, good eye. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Tough. Yeah, that's weird. We didn't get any word about Schneider and if he's playing today or not, and he might. I don't think they can suspend him
there's
after.
Nothing yet. 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock their time. They the IIHF usually meets up and talks about the 3 games that we're on in the day. So then the committee or whatever, they will discuss the questionable hits like that. If you get a 5 in a game, you're gonna get reviewed 100%. So the Austrian defenseman had the same problem there against the U.S. That's definitely suspendable. That's 100%, I think, at least 2 games, because you can't just blindside a guy like that. He did like 3 or 4 things wrong on that hit.
Yeah. Their article, I'm reading the article now, like nothing, there's no suspensions laid. They just talked about the no positive cases.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Especially there was that one questionable hit in the Austria-US game too. It was almost literally the same. But
yeah, but did you see that? He left his feet.
Oh yeah,
he goes right to his head. Defenseless
unnecessary
player.
too. Like at the end of the game where you're losing 11-0. Like, is that even necessary?
Yeah, I mean, frustration, right? You're representing your country. It doesn't matter what your expectations are. Every single player in this tournament has expectations of winning. It doesn't matter how realistic they are. That's the tough part.
So what do you think the relegation series is going to be? What are the two teams you think are going to be in that relegation?
I think Austria for sure on the one side, because that's impossible, I think, to match up against Russia, Sweden.
That's such a horrible pool forming.
Yeah,
Russia,
I mean,
Sweden, US, Czech, and then Austria.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's just the way it lies.
Yeah.
Canada had it last year with Russia and Russia, Czechs, Germany, and the US. That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say probably Germany, Austria.
Really, I think Germany gets in. I think
so?
Germany finishes third. Well, Germany has no pressure on them now.
Yeah.
Germany's done, right, with the tough part. They're done with Finland. They're done with Canada. Now they're the favorites in the next 3 games or 2 games. You get guys back now. That's the big part. So Germany, apparently, they could have moved the game back to today against Canada, that chose not to because they want to just swallow their medicine, move on, get their 2 hard games out of the way. And they're here to finish 3rd place in the quarterfinal and get to the quarterfinal game. That's what they're here for, Germany. I think they're good enough to do it. I mean, Paterka's a stud. Tim Stützle is a stud. I think Tim Stützle in this German team walks over a Switzerland team with a number 1 goalie, with defensemen back. I mean, with more than 5 defensemen, with more than 13 players, obviously. That would be nice to have. And I mean, I think they're there. I think they're finished 3rd still. I don't think there's a big difference.
Yeah. I can see that now. Yeah. Lean more towards that. I mean,
I see
No, go ahead.
I see Switzerland and Austria.
Okay.
Hey, in the Owen Sound, import pick, Noah Dumont looks really good. So does Giancarlo Shanton, the Swiss Slugger.
Yeah, don't call me. Oh my god, I love his name. I actually love his name, and I totally forgot he was part of Team Switzerland. But that would be interesting.
He looks good.
Yeah.
He looks good. Hey, those guys are used to the ice over here.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Because Dumont played in Acadia Bathurst last season, and then went back into the import draft and got selected by Owen Sound.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And for everyone saying Canada ran it up, did you see the shots in the Austrian game?
Yeah. USA
73 to 10. 73 to 10. No wonder why the goalie just tapped out. They should have pulled him earlier.
He must have been in rough
He
shape.
didn't even play bad. Get this. So the shots in the first period, I'll go over the shots quick. The shots in the first period, 22 to 3 US.
Wow.
So they have the shots in the second period, 30 to 2. You have 5 shots going into the third period.
And US has over 50 shots, which is crazy for a regular NHL game.
Can you imagine?
Oh man.
The third period, the shots 21 to 5. So did they let up?
No.
Did they? Like, that's the question. So everyone that says that about Canada, did the US let up? Because 73 shots could be a lot worse if their goaltender did not play that good.
And again, like we said, like some of the shots Team Canada took were harmless looking shots. And it's not Team Canada's fault the goalie can't cover up his short side all the time, or
they got to do something.
Yeah. like Tomasino's second goal was a flubber. It wasn't even tipped. It just fluttered through the air and it went in.
Yeah.
So
so there is a discipline hearing just tweeted out by Bob McKenzie.
Oh, okay.
The IIHF has a disciplinary hearing with Philip Wimmer of the Austrians. So
okay. So
there's one there. Don't know yet though about Schneider.
Interesting.
Oh, and also for the Germans, they get their number 1 goalie back and they get 2 defensemen back for their next game tomorrow against Slovakia.
Oh wow! So we are facing their second and third string goalie.
Yeah.
So again,
good luck.
How can people give shit to Canada about scoring 16 goals when the bulk of the goals came on their third stringer?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And also that's out of positioning. I mean, a couple of those looked like stopping air.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough. It was tough. I mean, I don't like to pick on the guy because, I mean, it's tough to be in that situation mentally more, because you know what you're up against. You know how many guys you got. It's tough.
It's a nice
It's like my golf game when the wind's going 20 miles an hour the other way. You don't got a chance. Yeah, no, Braden Schneider just in now from Bob McKenzie is having a hearing. No word yet on the decision of his status for today's game against Slovakia, but it should be coming soon. Obviously, they'll want to know before then. You would imagine. I
imagine you could probably they could go all the way up to the end of warm-ups and then pull him off the ice after. Yeah, that would suck.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's like, by the way, you can't play today.
They wouldn't let him do that. Yeah. They wouldn't let him do that because the IIHF would be in major doo-doo if they did that. They'd be in a lot of trouble. It wouldn't look very professional if they pulled that off.
I think they'd be okay if it was COVID related, because that's happened in the NFL with COVID. Right?
Yeah, the Des Bryant situation.
Yeah,
that was nuts. You hope it's not that big of a gong show.
No,
with IIHF.
I'm curious to see what the NHL is going to be like this year. If it's something's going to happen like that.
That travel throughout the States is tough.
Yeah, so like
a lot of hot spots on that.
They'll be in warm-ups. There's going to be like a late COVID test coming through, and like
instead of going to get a drink during warm-ups, you're going to go get a test.
Like I don't know, like Ovechkin. Like, what if he gets pulled like in warm-ups saying, "Yeah, your COVID test is here. You're done. You can't play."
How about this? You got Edmonton, Toronto playing Matthews, McDavid. One of them gets COVID. Can you imagine the media?
Yeah,
Sportsnet, TSN in Toronto would be all over that.
Well, McDavid did get it, so I'm not sure what the chances are of him getting it again.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not really up with the percentages with that, but yeah, that would suck. The media would be a frenzy with that.
Just the media presence, yeah, just the media presence.
Yeah. But this goal, again, stat padding, I guess you could say. I mean, Cousins.
I don't think it was
with 6 points in one game.
Yeah, you talk about the Buffalo prospects.
Yeah,
Buffalo's got a fair bit in here.
Mercer had 4 points.
There goes my Showtime bump up, with that one, Brandon? But yeah, they have a few guys there. I mean, Paterka's good. Paterka's a real good player. I mean, Jack Quinn's a stud. I mean, and Dylan Cousins. I had no idea Dylan Cousins had that big of a feisty spot to him. He's got a mean side, because in the scrums you always see Dylan Cousins in there. That's nice to see if you're a Buffalo fan, if he's got a little bit of it factor.
Yeah, he looks really good.
Because you can't teach that. You can't teach that grit.
And he's going to be – he's developed a lot more. He was on the team last year, if I remember. I'm pretty sure he's one of the returnees. And he was noticeable, but he wasn't as noticeable as he was in this tournament so far. Like, I noticed him even more than in the Russian game, more than this Germany game. This Germany game, you're going to notice everybody because everybody got in on something. But Cousins looks, again, like you said,
I'm looking at that right now, the points. I'm going to look at that right now, points. Yeah. Do we go quickly over it?
Yeah.
Over the list? So, wow. So, Zari, no points. Schneider, he wasn't out there long enough. You look at his PIMS, it says 25. That's nuts. So Dylan Cousins had 6. Mercer had 4. Mercer was very good to watch. Tonight, really watch Dawson Mercer. That line with Phil Tomasino and him and Ryan Suzuki, that line's fun to watch.
Was that not
They got a little bit of everything.
Was that not their 4th line on paper?
Yeah, but like every year, sometimes those 4th line guys are the guys by the end of the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, Phil Tomasino was their bottom forward going into the game, or not into the game, but going into yesterday.
God.
He had 3 points. He was third in their points there yesterday. Peyton Krebs with 3. Alex Newhook with 3. Connor McMichael with 3. Cole Perfetti with 3. Yeah, Barron 2. The other thing that caught my eye was how aggressive Canada's D is. You will like that. Because when you watch Russia play, their forwards are so aggressive on top on the penalty kill. I think that's a matchup where Canada is going to have a battle with, because Russia's aggressive up front and Canada's aggressive on the back end. So that's going to be fun to watch because it could be a track meet.
Yeah, I mean, they're everybody from what I see. Like Bowen Byram stood out for me as well. He kind of put the team on his back defensively last night too, and then you have guys like Schneider that can throw the body around. Guys like
Byram,
Goalie.
yeah. Byram looked a little excited there at the start. The one goal there, the Paterka goal, it was kind of borderline his fault because he made a nice play on the first move. The first move, he inside out of the two forwards, made a nice play. Then he tried to do that extra move as he gets by them, and that often doesn't work out. And that's what caused the 2-on-1 the other way. But other than that, Bowen Byram, as it went on, looked phenomenal. I mean, you look at that decor with Makar in Colorado. Ooh, Colorado's got some prospects.
Him and Drysdale played the most minutes out of everybody, 20 minutes apiece, 21 for Byram.
Yeah.
So they were relied on heavily, that pair. And
Drysdale's good.
Yeah. Anaheim got a stud
Anaheim.
with him.
Anaheim is underrated. You got Trevor Zegras, who's probably the best passer in the tournament. Just absolutely sniping last night.
Oh my God.
Dude, so that's nice to see. What a player.
Him selling in front of the Russian bench, just staring at them.
Yeah.
Oh, that was gutty.
Yeah. Is that the Barrett Hayton of last year?
Yeah, pretty much.
That was tough. That was a tough look there after the game against Russia.
Oh, Barrett Hayden, man. The story with him last year was crazy. Playing through that
up and down,
and still being able to
the year
snipe.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was wild. That gold medal game was one of the most emotional games in a long time.
Oh yeah. And then Akil Thomas, of all people, getting that game-winning goal.
Hey, that reception back in Niagara on the 10th, like this first day back in Niagara, like on the trade deadline the day he got moved, that was insane.
Yeah.
That might have been the loudest eruption I heard all year. That's definitely the loudest tribute I've heard all season last year in the OHL. Not even close. Akil Thomas returned to Niagara. That was like a minute and a half, 2 minutes solid.
Yeah. The last time I heard that building that loud was in a playoff game. I don't remember what year it was, but when Perlini was on the team, he scored an OT winner. And
2016?
I think it was against Kitchener. Yeah, it might have been Kitchener in OT. I think.
In the playoffs?
Yeah, it was an OT winner. Like
Kingston.
Yeah, he cycled around the net and then he roofed it. Yeah, it was. I was there at that game, and ears were ringing for the rest of the night.
There's another one. Perlini goes to the World Juniors, has a great junior career, can't figure it out at the NHL level.
No. Maybe you can figure it out with the Wings, eh? Look at that. He'll get a
shot.
Shot.
The Wings didn't sign. Yeah, the Wings didn't sign him.
Oh,
no, he's a free agent.
Yikes!
Free agent.
He might be one of those European. Yeah, he's gonna go over to Europe and just stay there. He might.
Yeah, hopefully he finds someone.
Other than that, Team Canada has the next couple of games are a pretty easy ride, I'd say, for the next two. Finland is still a mixed bag. I'm not really too sure how to.
Leading up to the Finns game, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
Finland's an underrated team. They're very young. Ratty's there, who's a top 10 pick. There's a couple guys there that are tough to play against. I mean, Brad Lambert, he's got the dual citizenship. I mean, his dad's Canadian, but that's another one who is a solid player to watch on Finland. The Finland's a tough team. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think Canada should win that game. The biggest question to me is for Canada is once they get to the medal rounds, the playoff rounds. That's the question that I have. How can they transition to that game from going to play a team like Germany last night to playing Finland in a couple of days? That's the part that it's interesting to me to see how they can adjust.
I'll be just watching Finland because of one player, and he's been lighting up the SHL. He plays in Mikko Kakkonen, the Leafs guy that they signed this past offseason for just, I think it was a 1-year contract, but I think he was leading I think it was the SHL or the KHL in defensive points, and I just want to see him. It's cool. Like when you have your favorite NHL team and you have some prospects playing as World Junior, it's always going to be in the back of your head. You're always going to try to pick them out and see what they're like and see how they handle things. Kind of like your own little scout in your way for seeing how these players are going to transition. So I'll be watching him. Obviously, still cheering for Team Canada, but I'll be
he's in the U20 Liga in Finland.
Okay, that's it. So yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting game on New Year's Eve. Switzerland, Slovakia, I'm not looking for much. I think it's just going to be – I'm not expecting another 16-2 game today. I'd hope Slovaks put up a little bit of a tougher test, but
I think Canada wins that pretty easily, though. I think Canada wins it pretty convincingly. I think that I don't like giving score predictions. I've been into it lately on Twitter about the score predictions. Yeah. I just want to get people involved. I want to hear what people have to say about the game. I think 6-1 Canada.
Yeah, I had a gut feeling it was going to be like a 6. Like it was definitely going to be like a 6 game. I'm going to say 6-1. I'm going to go with that. And if we're looking at Switzerland, my guts in my mind is saying a 10 spot, unfortunately, on Switzerland. I'm saying like 10-2, maybe 10-1. I'm going to stick with 10-2 for Switzerland. I'm not even going to guess.
It kind of looks to me like a game Austria versus the US. I think Switzerland's a little bit stronger than Austria, so that helps them out. I would say 8-9-0 Canada wins that game against Switzerland.
Okay. I'm not even going to guess Finland's game. I can't tell.
That's tough. Finland's quick on the transition. Finland's good, but I don't think they beat Canada. I think it's I think Canada wins by 3 goals with an empty netter. I think it's a game where Finland's in the game, but they're just chasing. They're a step behind. I think Canada wins that game like 6-3, or it's a decent game, but it's not. Or it's decent, but it's not. Finland's on a back-to-back that game too.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a 2 or 3 goal game. I can't see being anything more than that, and it's going to be really close. Like, it's not going to be a runaway. It's not going to be 3 goals for the entire game. It's going to come down to like the third period. I see a lot of PIMs probably in that game. It's going to be very, very like high intensity.
Composure.
Yeah.
Well, Canada's going to bring it. Canada's going to bring it because that's almost going to be like a tune-up game for the medal round.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, it's pretty much what I have on the docket for this episode. I'm not sure when we're going to release another episode. We'll see if Colin's going to be back, if BCAF's going to finally be back. We'll see what happens, guys. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Colin from the 0-60 podcast for coming on today, buddy. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and guys, go check them out, the 0-60 podcast on social media, and then listen to their podcast. Always good stuff, those two.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Like, you guys are honestly a really great OHL podcast, which you don't see nowadays. So you guys really do some good stuff over there. So that's going to wrap it up today, guys, for today's episode of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada Edition right here in the Armchair GM Sports Network. Again, we're your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, and delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. You can follow me on Twitter at JustKyle51. You can follow Colin Ward as well. I'll put his link in the description for you guys to follow. All the links for following the rest of the podcast and websites will be in the description of the video version of this podcast on YouTube. Thanks to my co-host today for joining me. It was a pleasure. Big thank you to all our great sponsors. Yeah, thanks, Colin. And a great thank you to all our great sponsors to help support and put us on the air. You guys are amazing. And again, guys, check out your local sponsors, especially during a time like this. And finally, to your viewers out there, thanks for tuning in and listening along for this episode. This has been another episode of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada Edition right here in the Armchair GM Sports Network. We'll see you next time.